So welcome to this little demo of a little programming system called ActionBlocks. It's built for designers who use Flash to design interactive applications, and now they can create many interesting forms of interactivity themselves without having to learn the rather complex Action script programming language. For this little demo I've prepared some graphics. Flash stores graphics in a library where you could get these graphics and use several instances of them on the stage. These are basic graphics. Flash also allows animations, but these graphics don't have that. I have these 4 peaches, and none of these peaches do anything interesting. They're not animated and they're not interactive. If I wanted to make them interactive, I would start editing the definition of a peach by double-clicking on it in the library. Let's zoom in a little bit and give it some intelligence by dragging a brain on into the peach graphics. Doesn't really matter whether the brain is small or big or where it's actually standing, because it'll be invisible when the application is running. But while it's visible when I'm authoring the application, I can open a component inspector panel, and this component inspector panel, whenever I have a brain selected, will show me options to add interactivity to this particular peach. I can have it respond to the mouse, I can have it respond to keys, I can have it do things whenever, for example, it collides with another movie clip graphic. It can respond to timers, for example. And right now I simply wanted to respond to the mouse click, and when the mouse is clicked it needs to remove itself, but also, because we're building a little game here, it needs to increase the score. So I'm increasing a variable called score, which doesn't exist yet, but we'll create that one. And now all these 4 peaches will have this intelligence to remove themselves and to increase the score. All I need right now from the library is the number variable component to be able to maintain a score. So let's start running this, and we'll see that whenever I click one of these peaches, the score will increase and the peach will go away. Next step is, of course, to have extra peaches appear. Next peach, I'm calling this timer, which should go off randomly between 0.7 and 1.5 seconds, and whenever this one goes off, it's an interval timer, it goes off repeatedly, but whenever it goes off, any brain can respond to that particular event. In this case I need a new brain for the entire stage, because these pieces need to be on the entire on the stage itself. So this brain will, whenever a timer goes off called next peach, it will add a new clip, and this is a clip I have called peach in the library. See, peach. And I can use formulas in ActionBlocks fields, much like you can use formulas in Excel. We didn't create any block language for expressions. We simply assumed that if they can use Excel, they can use formulas in ActionBlocks like this. And let's see whether the timer works right now. And the timer goes off, and we'll see a peach appearing indeed in some random location, and I can start clicking them all away. So here we have the beginnings of an interactive game. Let's try to create an end condition, which will demonstrate another feature of ActionBlocks. I'm going to have the game end when the number of peaches reaches 0. I'm calling this peach count, and it starts off with 4 because we have these 4 peaches already on the stage, and whenever the timer goes off for a new peach, we should of course increase the peach count by 1, and whenever a peach removes itself, we should decrease the peach count. Oh. Okay, now let's just have a little test whether the peach count is actually working. It's going down and it's going up, so it's actually working. That's fine, because now we can have this brain respond. This is an interesting feature, one of many of course. Respond to when a variable changes, and let's respond to changes in the peach count, and when it changes we'll send a signal to the entire application that it's game over. We can send it also to a specific clip, but in this case we'll send it to any clip. Game over will be sent, and when we receive game over, this same brain will receive its own message, and then it should show the game over screen in the center of the stage. Okay, and now for another ActionBlocks weirdness. We don't want to send this message whenever the peach count changes. We want only to send it when the peach count reaches 0. So I can make this command conditional by adding a condition to the command which says only executed when the peach count is actually 0. And this should give me a game that becomes interesting, but it doesn't yet create me a game over screen, but I do get an error message here which says that the signal game over was broadcasted but no one responded. So let's see why no one is responding. Perhaps this should be a capital letter. And now let's click away all the peaches if I'm quick enough. Oh dear, this. Okay, and now we see a game over screen appear, which can be clicked away by clicking on the OK button. Let's have a quick look at the game over screen. The game over screen here has its own brain, and this brain will, whenever the game over screen is created, start by making the screen really small, then having it rotate 3 seconds long, and making it big for 2 seconds, and setting the text field in this case to something stupid, but of course we should make it something interesting. So this is animation built into the game over screen, and here we react to the OK button whenever the subclip OK is clicked, because it's the entire brain for the entire screen that needs to respond to this little subclip. And in this case it starts making itself slightly bigger, but really fading out to full transparency, and then sending itself a message, but a little bit later, for 0.4 seconds later, which will make it actually remove itself. Here's the die signal that makes the clip remove itself. Okay, so that's how the game over screen works. This is a really quick demo of ActionBlocks built for designers, inspired by Scratch, with lots more features, but this is all the time that YouTube is going to give me.